I watched 3 full soccer games and somehow enjoyed it. Kinda. I have to admit, I was never much of a soccer fan, or football, as most of the world calls it, but with the 2026 World Cup being hosted by my 3 home countries, Canada, the United States, and Mexico, I'm genuinely trying to get into it and cheer them all on. I even had a little help along the way. Between ChatGPT and borrowing a few observations from the television commentators, I can almost sound like I know what I'm talking about. The more I watch, the more I appreciate just how passionate the rest of the world is about this sport. Will I ever become a die-hard soccer fan? Probably not, but I have to admit, watching World Cup matches with thousands of passionate fans, especially in Mexico, has been a pretty amazing experience. Anyone who knows me knows I can barely sit through a full soccer game. Yesterday was different. I watched 3 complete World Cup matches. I guess miracles really do happen. First off, starting at noon my time, Canada versus Switzerland, I've followed the progress of the Canadian men's team for several years now, and I knew the entire country would be tuned in. One of Canada's biggest stars, Alphonso Davies, moved to my hometown of Edmonton, Alberta, when he was 5 years old and grew up there. That makes it even easier for me to cheer him on. Canada lost the match, but they sure made it exciting after conceding an unfortunate go-ahead goal earlier in the game. The good news is they'll be playing their round of 32 match in Los Angeles. Davies is also expected to return from injury soon, which should give Canada a huge boost. Just reaching the round of 32 is another milestone for Canadian soccer. It almost sounds like I know what I'm talking about. Truth be told, I'm mostly repeating what the television commentators told me. Next up was Brazil versus Scotland. Brazil was up next. Whenever Brazil plays, they're usually the favorite, so I figured it was worth watching. They won 3-0, and after watching them play, I completely understand why they're considered one of the world's best. Their pace, their skill, their ball movement, it was all on another level. Starting during happy hour, Mexico versus Czechia. This was the game I was looking forward to the most. After all, I was in Mexico staying at my little casita I have rented since 2017. You could feel the excitement all over town. People were wearing jerseys everywhere. The atmosphere was electric. Of course, I never need much of an excuse to head down to my favorite local watering hole on the ocean. Watching Mexico play while sitting beside the ocean with an ice-cold Indio in my hand sounded like a pretty good way to spend the evening. I would normally grab a couple of pints in the afternoon, so being there in the evening was an even bigger treat watching the sun go down. I was an amazing backdrop to watch the game. I'll admit it, the first half reminded me why I don't usually watch soccer. 0-0. Not much happening. Even I know. You cannot pass the ball into the net. You have to shoot. Then the second half started. Mexico came out flying. You could almost feel the energy from the home crowd in Guadalajara pushing them forward. Before long, Mexico scored. Then they scored again. The handful of people nearly blew the palapa off the building. Final score? Mexico 2. Czechia 0. I do need to mention this game, USA versus Turkey. The United States plays Turkey today. And sorry, no sorry, but I really don't need to hear about the miracle on ice again this year. Somehow, American broadcasters find a way to work it into every single sporting event. No matter the sport, hockey, soccer, curling, probably darts, somehow. It always comes back to 1980. The knockout stage awaits Canada, the United States, and Mexico. All 3 of my home countries have advanced to the round of 32. The excitement keeps building as they continue their World Cup journey while doing an incredible job hosting the tournament. Canada's next match will be in Los Angeles. Naturally, I checked ticket prices. The cheapest single ticket I found was close to $2,000. I think I'll remain a television fan. Then I checked a neutral site match in Mexico. Using my Volaris annual flight pass, I could fly to Guadalajara or Mexico City for under $100 each way. Now that's a little more tempting. Honestly, I'm not even sure I need a ticket to the game. Just being outside the stadium, surrounded by thousands of passionate fans during a World Cup knockout match, would probably be an unforgettable experience. We'll see. There's a small chance I make it happen. If I do, you'll definitely read about it here first. Until then, let's go Canada, let's go USA, and let's go Mexico. You're making all three of my countries proud. Thanks for listening.